Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle, and today I'm doing the third video in a three-part series called the XRP Prediction. And this is all based on my XRP Breakout Chart. You can get a copy of this chart just by emailing me at metashackle@gmail.com. Put XRP Breakout Chart. I'll send you a high-definition copy of this chart every month once I update it right around the 1st until it's no longer relevant. So let's get into this. So here's the candle that we're currently on as of today. We actually came down and took out this low right here with today's price action. So it's starting to chew up some of that sell side liquidity. Now, I've had some time to think about this since I did my last videos. I was having some computer issues, so I had to basically reinstall Windows, reinstall all the programs and go through that disaster. We all know what a nightmare that can be. And during that time, I really had some time to think about this. And I think it's probably going to be more likely, especially to where we're at the bottom of this trend line, that what we're actually going to see around the time of the elections is we're going to see a move upward, taking out the buy-side liquidity. Now, the reason why I believe that this is going to be the case is because the institutions like to fake out the retail traders and get them chasing green candles. That way, they can bust them all out, take all their coins from them, so then when the real rise comes, basically they're sitting there just watching it happen because they don't want you to make money. So I think what we'll end up seeing is something similar to this. Since we still have not formed the fair value gap that has already happened 4 times in the past in the XRP breakout chart, it's very likely that we're going to see a big green candle with the price action rising up, taking the buy side liquidity sometime around the elections. I believe that they'll take it outside of this wedge. They might not take it that high. They might stop right around this area here. But if they want to do the ultimate fake out, they're going to have to pull it outside of this wedge because they know retail traders all over YouTube. It doesn't matter who you click on, what trader it is, what channel it is. They've all got this drawn out on their charts. And these guys are all saying the exact same thing. And the institutions know this, which is why it's likely that it's not going to happen now. So they'd be chasing this candle all the way up. Once it got through this liquidity point here, somewhere around that 66 cent level to about mid-70s, retail is going to get FOMO, start chasing this sucker all the way up here, man, especially when it breaks out, because then you're going to have, once it gets above this trend line, all the breakout traders are going to be piling on like crazy. They won't buy down here, but they'll buy up here. It makes no sense. It's a recipe for disaster. Then likely what'll happen is it'll calm down moving into December. Let's say Trump gets elected. I'm really not a political guy. I don't give a damn about politics. I don't care what side they're on, what color they are. They're all fucking criminals, period. I don't want nothing to do with these people. Now, we'll likely see the price action pull back down because a lot of people who already anticipated this move got in down here. So they're going to be taking profits up here. So this, as the price action falls back down in December and January, it'll bust out all these traders here, all these leveraged long positions that opened here and in this area. It'll come down and liquidate all of them. Then moving into January, once everybody starts to anticipate the new president coming into power, I think most people are going to be expecting a big rise right here. So this is the perfect time to pull the rug. That's why I think they're going to form this big candle, is because it's going to resemble a bull flag, which is going to get all the retail-minded people thinking about going long in this area. Even the ones that get busted out here are going to reposition down here. So seeing this bull flag, what would end up happening is around that time, most likely we'll see the price come back down. So a lot of those people will be piling in down here at the lows thinking, all right, I got a really good deal. You know, I might have missed that first run, but I got a really good price for the breakout to come. That's about the time we're going to see the liquidation candle from hell. So that candle is going to come down and sweep all of this sell side liquidity. Now, I don't know if it's going to go past this candle because that has not happened on the charts previous, but it's very likely that it could. Now, when this one came down, it cleared out all the sell side liquidity here. Some piled up here. This one took that out. All the sell side liquidity here got taken out by this. This one came in, swept this section. The one that we just saw in July swept this area. But there's still a ton of sell side liquidity going down all the way down here. I mean, moving down to like 16 cents. I don't think it'll go that far. I think it's more likely that if it does make a major drop, it'll be something like 25 to 30 cents. But never underestimate the power of the institutions and the market makers to wreck your world. They very easily could bring it down here. Now, it likely wouldn't last very long. It would probably be pretty quick and knock everybody out. As it knocks all the retail traders out of here, selling their coins, selling their positions, getting busted out of their leveraged longs. You'd even have short sellers that bought up at this range here that are now selling their positions and buying the shares back. So what you'd end up getting is all the retail people are going to just be pissed, right? They're going to be shaken up. They lost a ton of money, maybe one or two trades. They don't know what to think about it. So now they got fear. They don't want to get back in. Right about the time, the retail trader is just completely horrified, and he's literally getting ready to close his trading account, and he never wants to hear the term XRP uttered in history again. That's when we're going to start seeing things recover. Now, I believe all that excess money that's been printed these last couple of years through the Democrats, all that's out in these foreign countries right now, in these banks, in Nostro and Vostro accounts, which aren't going to be needed anymore, especially by the BRICS nations since they're adopting blockchain. So what's going to end up happening is all that cash is going to come flooding back, and it's going to kill the value of the dollar quicker than you think. Now, I don't think they're going to do it the way they used to, by using it for exports and imports. I think what they're going to end up doing is spending that cash while it still has some pretty good buying power, and they're going to exchange it for stable coins like RLUSD, USDC, but I don't think we're going to see USDT. They might even be a part of collapsing on this, because we know USDT's, it's literally a Ponzi scheme, and it's not going to be used for much longer. It crashing might be a part of this liquidation candle and the markets coming down. But as that happens, all that cash floods back to America, kills the value of the dollar for all the Americans, which will dramatically reduce their buying power. Then we'll start to see this recover, because as the stock market and the dollar gets hammered, they're going to go together there for a minute. But then we're going to see crypto pop right out and start heading to the moon. While everything else is coming down to the ground, a new market's going to emerge. Now, all the smart investors and smart traders, they didn't see this as a time to be afraid. They didn't see this as a time to sell. We see this as an opportunity. We see this as a time to buy, a time to reposition and prepare for what's coming. But retail is going to be sick to their stomach in here. And on top of that, these first few candles that formed right here formed the gap that we need to form the fair value gap that I've been talking about, which consists of 3 candles that form the gap and then the breakout on the 8th candle. This would be the 5th time this has happened since XRP has been traded, period. And it's happened all 4 times. It's going to happen again. We'll see the price recover, likely bounce off this line. We'll probably see it gather a little bit more liquidity down in this area. This being an inverted fair value gap forming on the way up, with price falling through it, will act as resistance for a short period of time. Once we see the price trading within in a closed candle, we will most likely see the reversal. Then what we'll end up seeing is the price will dig in probably somewhere around the 50% mark before we see it jet out of here. And once it breaks out of here, it's going to take out the rest of this liquidity, the buy-side liquidity resting above these candles that wasn't taken out. Doesn't matter if it was here or here, it's going to take out the rest. That's going to act as rocket fuel for this green candle to continue to go up until it takes out this all-time high. Now, retail players, they're going to be so hurt in this area that they're not actually going to start piling back in until it breaks out above this. They're going to realize they got fooled right here. So then they'll start piling in. You're going to have all these short positions getting liquidated. So with all that buying coming in, what we're going to end up seeing is the propulsion that we need, the rocket fuel, to get up here through this all-time high. Then once we break this is when the extremely uninformed crowd, the ones that have never heard of ISO 222, they have no clue, that will just be spreading their money out across the board. They won't really be buying particular cryptos, just whatever they've heard about, because they don't know anything about it. So they'll buy anything from ADA to HBAR, meme coins. They don't know enough about it to make a smart investment. And all that cash is going to be flooding into the general crypto market. But once we pop through this new all-time high, That's going to trigger the people that have no clue. Good investors are going to catch this, retail investors are going to catch this, and the people that have no clue about anything to do with crypto are going to start buying up in this area. Once we punch through this thick green line, this all-time new high, then we're going to go on to new all-time highs. But we're going to see something similar to this. Once that fair value gap has formed, those first 3 candles, then we have 5 candles to follow, breaking out on the 8th candle. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be the breakout candle right here. 8th candle, 8th monthly candle. Sometime in that 8th month, whenever that falls, this green candle might not form next month. It might not form in December. It might not form until January. I don't know when it's going to form. But when it does form, you're going to see a fair value gap form. Then we will see the breakout on the 8th candle. Another thing you want to keep in mind that can tip you off is on the logarithmic chart, this lower trend line, all the price action is above with only the wicks coming down for liquidations. If you take off the logarithmic chart, it gives you a completely different perspective. You can see the last time we broke down, once we fell below this lower trend line, we didn't have a single body close above this line. It even broke up, traded and closed above, traded and closed below. It wasn't until this candle right here where we had the full body of the candle close above this line. Right after that happened, the following month was our breakout candle. And you can see right where we're at now, this trading action where we've been accumulating all of this. You can see right here it fell down into here, and since then we have not had a single body close above it. Now it's traded above, closed above, fell below. So another thing to watch out for is once we break above this action and we have a full body close above this line, something that would look like this, not counting the wicks, just the body of the candle, like this one. Doesn't matter if the wicks are down. Once it closes above, that's going to be something to keep your eye on. Because when that happens, we're going to see something. I don't know if it's going to happen up here. Likely we'll see a big candle up here. But once we see that, that might be a signal that there's something incredible happening. It doesn't have to happen. You know, these candles right here, the way I've placed them, are literally just a guess, a way to explain to you what I think is going to happen, and has basically no foundation whatsoever in reality. It's just a way of looking at it and thinking about it, but it gets the point across. But one thing's for sure, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Do not miss this. When this happens with XRP, it's going to make millionaires and billionaires. It's never going to happen again. If you can get in on this at the right time and let it ride, and I would suggest, if you don't know what you're doing, buy the physical coins and put them in cold storage. Don't risk positions on trading, especially high leverage. These institutions feed on those positions. So do not miss this. Plan it out. Get a plan together. This is coming. It's coming. It's going to happen. The dollar's going bye-bye. So I hope you've enjoyed this video series. There's going to be a couple more series coming down the road. I'd appreciate it if you hit like on this. Help me spread the word a little bit. I do have a pretty small channel, but I appreciate you watching. Have a great day.